Now, Dr. Plasker, I want to ask you about the societal implications of people living longer. What does it mean for society as a whole if people are living to 100 years plus?
I love the question also because it really speaks to what has become a purpose of mine as to get this message out and how important it is to get the message out. I mean, let's face it, our society was not designed for a 100-year lifespan. We were designed to live to age 59, and then it was expanded to 62. And I'm talking about health care and financial implications and social implications and all of those things and all of the ways that our society structure was established for a 60-year lifespan. And so then when people started living longer, they raised it to 62, and then they raised it to 65, and now you get additional incentives if you don't retire till 67 and 72. And see, the problem is that the system needs a complete and total reinvention because we keep expanding it by 2 years at a time and 3 years at a time when we just saw that this current generation has literally outlived their life expectancy by 5 decades. We know that the motto or the paradigm of this 60-year lifespan generation, their philosophy when it came to health care was, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they defined broke, many of them, as serious life-threatening diseases or severe excruciating pain. And the problem is that that's very expensive, and when the breakdowns happen, they alter the quality of your life forever, and they take away from your quality of life forever. When the reality of it is that we need to reinvent that paradigm and redefine broke, whereas being out of balance in your life is broke, not waiting for diseases, not waiting for sicknesses, and reorganizing our thinking around longevity. So from a healthcare standpoint, our healthcare system was actually never, it was sold as healthcare, but in my opinion, it's not really a healthcare system. It's a crisis care system.
Is there any way we can look into the future and see if perhaps we're one of these people who may live to 100?
We actually have a formula that we do. It's called the Empire, and it stands for, it's M-PYR, which stands for minimum potential years remaining. And what you do is you think about the oldest grandparent in your family that's ever lived. So let's do this for you, Sarah. So how old is the oldest grandparent in your family that ever lived?
I have a grandmother who's 88, but she's still living.
Okay, so 88 and counting. Okay, and your current age is?
29.
29. Okay, so that means if you take 88 minus 29, that's your empire. So 88 minus 29 comes out to be 59. So your minimum potential years remaining that we know of, based on your own family history, is another 59 more years minimum because grandma's still going.
Unfortunately, we're out of time, so thank you so much, Dr. Plasker.
My pleasure, Sarah. Take care.
Back to you, Stan.
Thanks, Sarah. Real quick, Brooke and Dr. Simon, I wanted to get quick responses from each of you on whether we can afford to live the lives it now seems biologically we are about to live. Brooke, we'll go to you first.
Well, I think that there's a little bit of a creativity in that. For example, we have some people who have considered moving in together that are siblings, or ways to sort of share some of the costs of what it might be to move into, for example, Meadowood, where they have an extra large apartment, but because they're living together, the cost can be split. So things like that may be coming down the way that we might see more of in an effort to make that money last.
So I think it's going to be very challenging. I want to bring this conversation around to health care, where I know we're going. So we have to think about what it is that's leading to longevity increases in the first place, and think of the fact that people are dying less so of cancers and heart diseases, and because they're not dying at those ages of those illnesses, they're going to die of something later on, and that the longer individuals are alive, the more health care will be consumed. Now, people are living healthier lives, but we're living in times when the ability of the healthcare system to do things for us is also increasing, but increasing at a cost. So this is all going to impose a lot of challenges on how the system is going to respond.
Obviously, in the last year, we've talked a lot about overhauling the healthcare system in this country, and there are a lot of those provisions that lead directly to care for the elderly. What is your feeling, and then I want to get Brooke and Carrie's feelings as well. What do you think about the healthcare overhaul bill as it respects being able to treat people longer, being able to make them lead longer lives, and being able to lead happy lives as long as they are alive?
So it depends on what part of healthcare reform this is going to relate to, but I think the most relevant parts are about the funding mechanisms for long-term care that's in the healthcare reform bill, and I think we'll be talking more about that. But thinking about how can the system become more flexible to allow for different types of long-term care, and making insurance systems more easily available for planning those kinds of care, I think are really important parts.
Brooke and then Carrie real quick.
For example, the Class Act will provide potentially what may serve as long-term care insurance for people who may need to go into nursing care and formerly would not have been able to afford that, and so it may supplement what they were formerly able to pay privately so that they can afford that at a more reasonable level. Or they may be looking at the expansion of home care services so that people can remain in the home longer, and through increased funding for that, have it paid for by the governmental programs.
And I would agree with that. I think probably the Affordable Care Act, probably the most important provision for seniors is the fact that you're looking at supplementing systems of home-based and community-based care. And those are the systems that deliver care most cost-effectively. And to build capacity within those systems is going to be critical to this large group of seniors that's headed our way.
Well, my thanks to all of you. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. This is one of those topics we could have gone on for a long time, but thanks for helping to encapsulate it the way you did.
Thank you.
Thanks to all of you listening and watching, and thanks to my co-host, Sarah Whitmire, for your help this evening. Sarah, thanks.
Thanks, Dan.
And please do join us for our next In Focus. You can also post your questions or your comments at infocus@indiana.edu. You can see portions of this show by going to our website, which is indianapublicmedia.org/infocus. And we hope to see you in 2011, Season 3 of In Focus. For right now, have a good night and happy holidays from all of us here at WTIU.
Production support for In Focus is provided by Smithville, a locally owned business serving central and southern Indiana since 1922, with residential and business internet, voice, and security services. Smithville, local pride, global technology. Information at smithville.net. Hoosier Energy, providing electricity for central and southern Indiana electric cooperatives and their member customers. Information at hepn.com. And by viewers like you. Thank you.